G'day guys, Coffee here, and today I bring you another ship design, and this one was created by Tito from the organization ACES. The goal of these videos is simply to show you the community some of the work that's been done by these organizations behind the scenes in preparation for Starbase, and also to show you some pretty cool stuff from flying ships and creating battle scenes, and the more models I get, the more work I can actually do. If you find these videos cool and have something to share, then please hit me up in Discord. I have a website in the works right now that will have a dedicated section for Starbase and ship designs and prices and whatnot, all for different organizations. Last thing, please consider subscribing to the channel for all Starbase related content in the near future.
Hi, I'm Sm326. I am the Chief Operating Officer, a part of the High Command of ACES.
And I'm Chaz1. I am an admiral in the ACES Foundation. I'm also part of the High Command. And today we are going to show you an exclusive look in one of ACES' latest designs, the F437 Hunter Heavy Fighter.
So I guess we'll get started with the back portion here. So one of the major parts about having a heavy fighter is most certainly speed, because the heavy fighters that I've seen personally are usually going to be very slow and pack a really big punch. But the difference in this heavy fighter that we've developed is the high amount of thrusters. We've got 8 of them, and these are the box thrusters, which are significantly more efficient than the triangle thrusters that we've been given as well.
Because you have all these box thrusters back here, they're a lot more efficient thrust-wise than the triangle thrusters. You're really going to get the range you would expect out of a heavy fighter too. And that's really important because the thing is, light fighters and medium fighters are designed to operate from a carrier or some other larger ship or station that can refuel them. But the thing is, this heavy fighter that we've developed is going to be able to run for extended periods of time.
So obviously, maneuverability is a very important part about having a heavy fighter, because you're going to have, here, if you come up here, if you have all those little, light fighters and medium fighters, they're going to be able to get around you and swarm you immediately. But here we've actually we've actually gotten the use of these triangle thrusters to act as kind of like pseudo RCS. They put out a ton more force, which is going to allow you to really, really pitch, yaw, and roll in the fashion that you need to get around those light fighters.
It's also going to give you a significant edge over enemy heavy fighters and other larger craft, because the thing is, if the controls for like ships and turrets stay as they are, where it's just WASD and without like mouse control and stuff, it's not going to be all that easy necessarily to like aim those turrets and stuff and get them exactly where you need them to be to hit the target. Which means that if you have a nimble ship like this one, then you can actually evade a significant portion of the fire and stay in the fight for longer.
Yep. So if we move on to this middle compartment, in between all of our thruster compartments, if you will, you can see we've got 2 Yolal raid chips, which include 6 Yolal chips each. So if you have any, well, in this design in specific, we're going to need a lot of Yolal to do the certain functions we want to do. And then you can also see we've got 3 receivers, which we really only need 1, but those are just there for placeholder until we can decide what really needs to be there. And then you've also got a transmitter. And the best part about this is that it's protected. And as you know with the Rhino, if you've seen that video, it has been confirmed with the devs that radio transmissions can be received and transmitted through solid plates. So this really increases the survivability of these components.
Definitely. You do not want to lose contact with your squadron or whatever just because your thing got shut off, and there's going to be a significant amount of armor covering this area.
So next we're going to talk about the generators. So obviously you've got, this is symmetrical. So you've got fuel right here on both sides, instead of like some other designs where you just have one main generator. So if we pull these out real quick, there's quite a few pieces. You can see that there is not only that, but there's also some additional generators on the other side, as I talked about with the symmetrical appearance of it. And then there's two upgrade modules. So if you need more cooling boards or you want to put in upgrades, which in this situation, it'll probably be mostly upgrades because the actual fuel rod holding generators will contain the cooling chips. You can put more upgrades in there to get better efficiency. And there's actually, I forgot to mention this, there's more below.
So our main reason for putting so many generators in here, because as you can see, you're gonna have absolutely no shortage of power with a generator that consists of like half the mass of your ship, and you're definitely gonna need all that power to power not only the massive amount of thrusters that you have, but also your exceptionally powerful armament. If you want to move down here, um, if you look on the front of the ship, you can just see the front at least is bristling with firepower. You've got 8 autocannons and 36 missiles just on the front. This is going to give you more than enough firepower to tackle really any threat you're going to be looking at, whether it be light fighters, which will absolutely shred, to like Corvette-sized ships, which the missiles will be more than enough to harass, if not completely destroy. Especially if used in Wolfpack tactics, which is like a coordinate like doing coordinated strikes and stuff strategically to get around the opponent and overwhelm them with sheer firepower. This is really what the ship is going to excel at, although it pretty much functions well in any combat situation and role just because of the versatility of the craft. And if one cool feature about this is if you'll come to the bottom of the ship, this ship is also suited well to strafing targets and basically just running over them, because we have these 9 missiles here, or 18 if you count the ones on the other side, to be able to hit ships as you're running directly over them, so you don't necessarily have to be facing directly at them. This allows you to continue to be moving and not have to stop to fire your missiles and not miss the target and stuff. So that's going to be a massive advantage in combat, and just going to give you another trick up your sleeve in the middle of the fight, which you're definitely going to need and want.
All right, so if we come over to the middle of the bottom of the ship, you can see we've got some radiators. These are very important because you don't want your ship overheating, and I believe if your ship does overheat because you don't have radiators, your generators explode. And if you've seen the latest video or the latest dev blog that's been posted, generators create massive explosions. So that would be especially dangerous on any ship in the game. All right, so if you come over to the front, the last piece of armament that we have left is the railgun. These are going to be very important for hard-hitting or for heavy armored targets because they are extremely hard-hitting. These things will go through plates and plates and plates of armor, and this really wouldn't be a heavy fighter unless you had one. And so the 7 generators that we talked about earlier are crucial to getting this thing to work at its maximum efficiency, which requires around 9,000 energy per second, which these 7 generators up there are more than capable of doing, especially if you add efficiency upgrades.
Yeah, by our calculations, these railguns should get around 10 rounds per minute with a 6-second reload. So it takes about 9,000 energy units to shoot this bad boy. So that's about 1,500 energy per second power draw, which is actually equivalent to 3 autocannons firing at maximum RPM continuously. So this thing draws a significant amount of power, but it won't be a problem for you like it will be for many other fighters, which are going to require batteries to power a weapon like this for any extended period of time, because your reactor is just so beefy that you can just shoot for basically an almost endless amount of time until you run out of ammo, that is.
Also, a very, very cool part about this ship, which increases the survivability, if you come up on the top with me, you can see, and you might be wondering, hey, why do you only have 1 fuel tank? Well, because there are not that many thrusters, RCS thrusters on this ship, we don't need that fuel. We can use the fuel generated in the generators, which uses fuel rods, to power all of the thrusters. And so because of that, you have less of a chance of your ship exploding because there's less parts that have or that are capable of exploding. Like if this fuel tank got hit by a railgun or an autocannon or anything, your ship would be dead. But you're gonna have to get through layers and layers of armor just to be able to get one of these generator parts. And if that explodes, then yeah, the ship is pretty much dead. But that's the case for every ship in the game. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'm Sm326. This was Chazwick1, and if you want to help us out and build some ships yourself, then just go on into the description below, check out our Discord, and we'll get you started with everything you need. If you need any help, just let us know.